Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, episode 199. And damn, I'm consistent. I didn't think I was this consistent, man. When I first started this podcast, if you go back and you look at the original episode, like the first episode of Clangin and Bangin with Mikey, it was me working out during COVID, and yeah. I think that was the first time it shut down. The first time the world shut down. Yeah. So when that shit happened, you know, like everybody else, I was at the crib, But thankfully I had workout equipment at the crib where I had guys coming by and telling me like, yo, um, can I come work out with you? I was like, yeah, 100%, dog. And so, like, nigga, that's what we did. Is like, um, there's a Facebook live video of me and one of my partners just working out, and it's crazy because it's like that's how this shit, started, That's how me getting comfortable in front of cameras. That's how me started building up my confidence started. And so when all this shit popped off, COVID, everything, all this shit around the world, I had to figure, I told myself like, yo, like how are we gonna get, how are we gonna get through this? Financially, I'll be okay, Financially, I wasn't stressed about that, It was more along the lines for me for like my mental and physical health. I figured, okay, I can keep my physical health in check by just working out, keep doing what I've been doing, right? And so that's what I did, I just worked out. And over the years I got, more pieces, more equipment in my garage. And so, when I first started out, all I had was them old school Joe Weider concrete, some sand block plates. And then I got more equipment. I had a buddy of mine who was who's having trouble selling his dumbbell rack, because nobody wanted his they wanted the dumbbells but not the rack that came with it, and he was trying to sell it as one piece. I asked him, hey man, how much you want for it? And he gave me the number. I think it was like 1,100 or 1,200, whatever it was. I was like, okay, cool, drop it off the crib. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, I'll Venmo you the money, bro. He's like, what? He's like, yeah, I got you. And ever since then, I've been slowly building up my, equipment, equipment that I use, stuff that I want to use. Because it's important, man. It's important to invest in yourself. And that's something that a lot of people, not necessarily are afraid to do, but a lot of the times people will look for other people to invest in instead of investing in themselves. It's like this morning before I hopped on the podcast, I was I was listening to tonight's conversation, and tonight's conversation said like, hey man, is it wrong for you to date multiple people and and catch feelings with multiple people, right? And Ace said, Ace is the one that posed that question, and Trip answered it, and Trip was saying, yeah, it's wrong if you looking for other people to, complete you. If you're looking for other people to, quote unquote, bring other pieces into your life together, that's wrong. And he's like, and he said it pretty eloquently too. He's like, yeah, that's like, if you're heavy on religion or heavy on prayer or whatnot, and you've been on the prayer square doing the thing, and you got somebody who doesn't do that, or doesn't religiously do that, or doesn't practice it at all, like why would you want to be around them? And it's true, um, especially in their everyday personal life. And I think it's also important to realize, um, just because you enjoy being around somebody doesn't mean that they're right for you. You can talk about marriages, romantic relationships, hell, even friendships, male and female. And I'm not gonna dive into platonic and romantic shit, cause it's like, you know, human beings are attracted to each other. They may be attracted to the same sex. They may be attracted to the opposite sex. It's whatever it is, right? Um, I firmly don't believe that people are meant to be alone. You know, I firmly believe that for everybody there's somebody. And a lot of the times, when you ignore the red flags in any situation, you end up dealing with the consequences later on. And don't get me wrong, there are beautiful things that come from horrible situations. Whether it's, new relationships, new friendships, kids. I think kids are the biggest thing because it's like kids never asked to be here. You know, it's us to us as the adults who are procreating to create a safe space for each other. You know, and not just for each other, but for the kids that we bring into this world. And I myself, I'm not a dad, but I do enjoy being around kids. I do enjoy helping young people through their problems, whether it's serious, whether it's, not so serious, but to them, you have to realize if you're between the ages of 12 and 18, everything is serious, whatever it is, right? You know, and I think a lot of kids nowadays, they're faced with so much shit, whether it's, your peers not liking you or, social media bullshit, fucking video games they play, that all that type of shit, right? But the biggest one to me is social media. I mean, I grew up in the 90s where as soon as you left the school, the day was over, You don't have to deal with the motherfucker who was bullying you, or you don't have to deal with the people who are doing X, Y, and Z, because these niggas ain't got it. They don't know how to get a hold of you, right? And nowadays it's different, man. I was looking up a stat saying that suicide amongst teenagers or just young kids in general are up, and I think it's strictly because of the phone, man. Don't get me wrong, technology is a great thing. Not to make it about me, but technology's helped me release music. Technology's helped me, become a college graduate, helped me apply to graduate school, all of this shit, right? It gave me access to the world that before 1995, you didn't have that. As quick as it was, right? I remember back in the day having dial-up. I remember back in the day when you had dial-up internet, you could not use your phone because it would tie the phone line. But yeah, it just shit like that, because it's like you end up you end up taking shit for granted, and sometimes I wish that kids nowadays grew up how I grew up, and vice versa, the generation before me, because the world is different, man. The world didn't evolve around TikTok trends and social media, Instagram, IG, Snapchat, and like none of that shit was available, And I think that's also something that's very dangerous too at the same time. And it goes back to my original point. What Ace was saying about having multiple people in your life, and the question was phrased because a woman asked that. The woman said, is it possible to date, multiple people and not catch feelings? Yeah, it's possible to do that. I don't know why you will. I don't know why you would want to do that. Me as a man, it doesn't make any sense, because it's like if you're dating multiple people to fill spaces in your life, that means you don't even have space for yourself. I'm gonna say it again. If you're dating multiple people, you don't have the space within yourself to create for yourself. It's simple as that. Like if you're looking for people to fill that void and looking for people to quote unquote just shield you from your bullshit, um then it's not fair to them. And it's a difference between creating a safe space for somebody and running from your problems. If your first instinct is the flight rather than the fight, then that's something no other individual can help you with. That's strictly 100% internal, and you're not gonna succeed in that because it's like you're always gonna be like, oh, okay, you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop, and the other shoe, with a lot of brothers like myself, it's never gonna drop because what you see in front of you is what you get. It's never gonna be a fucking. I'm never gonna have you out here wondering. I'm not gonna have you out here fucking looking stupid or whatever it is. Because it's like, mamas, if you want me, come get me. I'm gonna say it again, mamas, if you want me, come get me. And I don't mean that I know cocky shit. I don't mean that I know. Oh, I'm too good to pursue you. No. I'm saying if you want me, come get me. That means if you want all of this, come correct. I don't give a fuck about your insecurities, your doubts, your fears, whatever it is. If you want me, mama, come correct. Come get your mans. And by you dating multiple people, it just shows that you're not even ready to be by yourself. It shows that you're not ready to, be one with yourself. And I think that's the most disheartening thing when people get into these, I hate to use the word situationships, but these situationships where, things happen, whether it's you creating a genuine connection, you having sex, or you meeting the parents, or meeting the kids, or whatever it is, right? But the whole entire time, there's no label on it. But you're doing a couple like shit. The whole entire time, there's no label on it, but you making it clear that he can't talk to nobody else, or he's making it clear that you can't talk to nobody else, or whatever it is, right? What are you afraid about? If you're, like Tripp says, if you're on your square, then what do you have to be afraid about? There's nothing that should stop you from going after what you want. I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and I said, hey man, I want you to be the best version of yourself. I want you to chase your goals. I want you to do X, Y, and Z. Because even if you end up ultimately picking me, I don't want you to be just Mikey's girlfriend. I want you to be your own individual person, your own individual badass person that I know you can be. And I want that for you because you're also an individual. Yes, relationships are beautiful, they're great, they're loving, they're all that, but I never want you to lose your individuality. And I think that's important to tell people, man, because when people get involved in relationships, sometimes they lose who they are. You ask anybody, have you ever lost who you were? Yeah. And whether it's, my downfall, my downfall in certain situations is that sometimes I don't listen. Like I hear exactly what's going on, but like I don't really listen to it, right? And so I've been working on ways to get better, and to understand that, okay, like, bruh, I know what you want. She knows what you want. But my man right now, it ain't the move, dog. So just fall back. When I say fall back, I don't mean to fall out of the picture. Just, ease up under pressure a little bit, right? Because again, it goes back to understanding who you're dealing with, understanding, all their past, their traumas, their triggers, all that shit. But you also have to understand that you're not the one to fix them. And I think a lot of brothers, when I say brothers, I mean men in general. We get involved in these situations where we're like, you know, where women come to us and like, I tell my girl all the time, it's like, yo, it's like, do you want solutions or do you want a vent? And she be like, huh? Well, yeah. It's like, do you want solutions or do you want a vent? Because if you want solutions, baby, I'll sit here all day long and give you solutions. You know, we can come up with a plan. You know, we can execute from A to Z. Run through the whole alphabet twice if we have to. You know, or if you want a vent, baby, go get your snacks from the fridge. I'm gonna be on the couch. Let's go talk. But that's just how I am. You know, I'm naturally gonna try to fix things. You know, I'm not gonna be one of them niggas that be like, oh yeah, you know, if somebody comes to me like, damn man, this and this and that, you know, yada yada yada, you know, and they be like, oh, I'm stressed out over these bills. I'm like, damn, that's wild. You know, like I hope you get that figured out. You know, but in a way, it's like sometimes you have to be that dude because you have a lot of people who just take advantage of that. And they just don't know how to understand that. It's like, yo, it's like, I get the fact that you're going through issues, but it's like, maybe this shit is self-imposed. You know? Maybe this shit is something that, you know, something that you kept ignoring that now you can't ignore it. Maybe this is something that, you know, people warned you about. And now you're dealing with the consequences of it. It's like this other individual I know. They knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody. And this individual would always cheat on their spouses, right? And in that particular situation, after several times attempts, you know, several times the man caught cheating, you know, the spouse left. But the spouse didn't leave until 20 some odd years later. You know, several kids deep. And what's sad is that this individual, not only did they break up a happy home, but he essentially, you know, they essentially beat down, you know, mentally, emotionally, they beat down their spouse simply because their actions didn't line up with what they said they were going to do, right? There's only so many times where you can give somebody an opportunity to change, and you're like, yo, like, I'm done. You know, I don't care if it's a year in, you know, well, a year in maybe, you know what I mean? A year in, you got to give people grace because you're still learning about each other. You know, if it's been 10 plus years and this motherfucker hasn't changed or she hasn't changed, and you have every right to walk away from it. Because again, it goes back to the original statement. You know, about what this lady at tonight's conversation had posed her question: can you date multiple people and not catch feelings for them? It's the same thing with being committed to one person. After a while, you just don't care, you know. like it doesn't matter to you because it's like you're tired of giving energy to something or somebody who doesn't appreciate it until the energy is gone, you know. And a lot of people don't realize that, and they just want to be like, oh yeah, this. Like, no, it's at the end of the day, the energy was there for a reason because they was waiting for you to get right and you never got right. Again, I'm gonna say it again. They were waiting for you to get right and you never got right. So after a while, you just look at things. Okay, like this, he or she's never gonna change. She's not, you know, he or she's never gonna change for me. Maybe it'll change for somebody else, you know. Or you have situations where people are horrible together, but great at co-parenting. You know, and then you have situations where it's 100% nothing, right? Um, and the latter is always sad because it's like I said before, the kids don't ask to be here. You know, they don't ask to be put in a situation where mom and dad can't get it the fuck together, or dad can't get out of his way, or mom can't get out of her way, whatever it is, right? So at the end of the day, when all that shit is going on, there's something that you have to come to terms with it. You know, you have to come to terms with the reality of your situation. Reality of your situation is that it's not going to shape out how you want it to shape out. You know, and sometimes, you know, you can't run from everything. Because no matter how far you run from shit, when you come back, that shit's still going to be there. And problems that you haven't dealt with, you know, I don't care if they're I don't care if they're a week old, a month old, 5 years old, 10 years old, 20 years old, whatever it is. If you haven't dealt with that issue, if you haven't given yourself the time and the grace and the space to deal with that, then it's never really going to go away. You know? It's never really going to dissolve. It's like when somebody dies, right? And I take, for instance, my brother. I'm still not used to the silence. You know, I'm still not used to not talking to him every day because my boy used to live right next door. you know, and so it's like, yeah, you know, I'm not okay, but I will be okay. And at the end of the day, what keeps me going is that he wouldn't want me to just be going through life. He would want me to go out there attacking my goals and doing everything I possibly can to live my life to the fullest. You know, and if that involves finding the love of my life, then great. You know, but in no way, in shape or form, am I going out there just focusing on somebody to complete me. If anything, I'm gonna be that complete package before she even comes into my life. And if she comes into my life while I'm working on myself, great. Baby, let's come work on each other together. You know, let's come be better people together, you know, because that's what it is, man. So to answer that question, you know, my thoughts on it is like, you can't sit there and say that it's, can you date multiple people and not catch feelings? It's physically impossible not to catch feelings. People are too charismatic. Anyway, man, this is about 23 minutes of your life that y'all won't get back. Hope y'all keeping it full peace. Private player, positive pushing. I'll see y'all next week, Sunday. Love y'all. Ghost, and like I always say, know your worth because you're better than what you are. Peace. All right, guys. And thank you for your service to all the men and women who served and who are currently serving. I appreciate y'all.